The Edmonton Oilers will close out their 5-game homestand tonight, taking on the Detroit Red Wings down at Rogers Place. They will play a team yet again on the second half of a back-to-back, hoping to get some good luck that way. And against a Red Wings team that currently sits first in the Atlantic Division. Both of these teams, they love to score goals this season. Think we got some potential for some high-flying offensive affair. Bet the over. I already see somebody put that in the chat. I subscribe to that theory. We'll check in on Bordzy's bankroll a little bit later as we get set for Oilers, Red Wings, Red Wing Oilers for the final game of the Oilers 5-game homestand. But hello, what up, and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, with Pangsy, presented by Bet365. Download the app today, 19 plus, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I am joined, once again, honored to be joined by Sean Panganiban, Oilersnation writer, contributor, I believe is the word they tend to use from time to time on the website. Pangsy, it is cold as absolute shit outside right now. I have barely been outside since this morning, and I don't intend to spend any time outside. Today was one of those days where, for all the men out there and women that are working out in this cold-ass weather to make a buck, earn a living, I respect and appreciate what you have to do, because I don't know if I would be able to live out there. I don't know if I'm built like that. I used to have to do it back in the day. That was plenty of years ago, and I built up some fat in the meantime, so maybe I would actually stay warm. It's cold as shit out there, and it's nice and toasty warm inside Dogpatch right now. Bangs, give me a vibe check.
It is freezing outside, but when I get to do these pre and post games with Bordzy and Brett, it just warms my heart inside. And I'm thinking at Dogpatch tonight, I might get the braised beef ragu, so that's nice, warm, and hearty. So the vibes are high in combination of an Edmonton Oilers game tonight.
I was also thinking the braised beef ragu, so now that I know Pangs is doing it, I think I'm going to have to do it. Brett said tonight he's thinking for a nice borscht beet soup, nice and keep you warm, I guess, while we're in here down at Dogpatch. Reminder, come on down to Dogpatch. We're going to be here all season long. Keep it locked on our socials. And we have a special guest with us, a special visitor down at Dogpatch right now. It's Northside Norm, absolute beautician in the chat. Gave us some stickers as well, but stickers wasn't the best thing he gave us. He's the best dressed man down here. Also, the guy he brought with him, he's wearing a Red Wings jersey and a Red Wings toque. However, it's an old Heritage Classic Datsuk Red Wings jersey. So if you're going to wear one of those, at least you better make it good.
Yep.
And that one is good. And then Norm, he brought a special gift for one Tyler. He made a special gift for himself as well. He provided coffee cups that say Merry Beltmas on them, people. Norm walked in wearing a t-shirt he made that says Merry Beltmas with Santa and a belt. That is a thing.
It's awesome.
That's a thing of absolute beauty right there. Northside Norm, who also bought your hockey card, I do believe. He's one of the best in the chat for a reason. I wish him nothing but good times down at Rogers Place tonight, but I wasn't expecting gifts. Usually you're the gifts guy, which also I'm wearing the Patriots hat you gave me. So shout out Pangs. What do you think of Beltmas?
Amazing. What does it say right there?
Parental advisory.
Oh my goodness gracious. Even a little juice there. Amazing. Very nice, Northside Norm.
It's a good touch. It's a good touch. What'd you think of Beltmas? You're obviously not on the live shows as much as the rest of us are, because Panger walked in today and we're yelling about Beltmas and belt to ass to belt, whatever you want to say. And Pangs seemed a little bit confused.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'm tuning more into the sauce as of late. Oh, I don't want to start
Company
that beef.
man.
He's telling me about there's a family feud. I don't want to start the beef in between the shows. I tune in every now and then, but yeah, that's amazing. It looks really good.
Gun to your head. The sauce for Oilers Nation every day. Just kidding. Family Feud will actually decide that. Good time to shameless plug. We had an excellent filming of Family Feud yesterday. The content is going to be as good as anything I think we've done before. Tune in. Boxing Day, it will drop. The sauce versus Oilers Nation every day. And I shout out to the Nation citizens, because once again, it's nice because when I made the Jeopardy games, it's on me to come up with 50 questions, 100, because we did it twice. A little hard to do that, but when you put it in the hands of the Nation citizens and you make it a survey and you poll them, no one got mad at me yesterday because of the answers, because they can't get mad at me for the answers. So shout out to all of the lovely Nation citizens out there. And shout out to the chat. Let's get caught up in here and see what's going on. Soggy Corpse, wellness check. We don't need it. Austin is in. But Soggy Corp said, no fucking way. I'm here first. Congrats, buddy. Winner, chicken dinner. He says, hell yeah, it's Beltmas. And then Austin quickly responded and said, sit down, corpse. Then Soggy Corpse actually also had a super chat. Reminder, all your super chats are in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation, a cause that does incredible things for families going through not incredible times. I'll put it like that. He says for $2, LFG, first one here. Cup, yeah.
Cup, yeah.
Yeah, it is a cup year. Then Northside Norm is in. He says Merry Beltmas and a happy cup year.
Cup, yeah.
Beltmas. Maybe you can make me some merchandise or a coffee cup with cup year on it. Yeah. Do we have any merchandise that says cup year?
I don't
That
recall.
Feels like a really big miss swingo for us there.
I need to trademark that right away.
Patent pending. Lance is in with a simple cup year.
Cup, yeah.
I like seeing Lance Kane. He's in the chat in the sauce in the morning. He's in the Oilers Nation Everyday chat. I tuned into the Jason Gregor show. You bet your ass Lance Kane was in that chat. He's going to be in here for pre-gaming, and I know he's going to be in here for post-gaming. Lance, we love you. Soggy Corpse also, he's on fire to start. Obviously, it's an overnight, right? Personally, 6.5, that's a lot of goals. I feel confident in the 6.5. I might even recommend if you're, I'll say it, a pussy like me, tease it down to over 5.5 goals. I feel much more comfortable in that realm right there. Patrick's in. He says, God, I love Lamp. I also love the lights in front of me. We're just pointing out random things in the room and saying that we love them. Fighting Amish. He's a real Iserman living in his Yiser land, making all his Yiser plans for nobody. We'll get into that in a little bit. Obviously, it's been, I think, 9 seasons now, 9 consecutive seasons for the Detroit Red Wings without playoff hockey. However, like I said in the opening, they are currently first in the Atlantic Division. Now, it's tight as hell in that division, but at this very moment, they are in a playoff spot. They're looking good, and they are scoring goals this season. That the Detroit Red Wings are not no number one fan always. Sorry, I can't believe I messed that up. I need the names to go back to the way they were. Time to roast some wings. Absolutely. A couple people in here. Tyler said we're back. We're in the back half of 97's career to press sense. I hate this whole argument. Did you see this article that went out? It was Paul Paduti wrote an article on Daily Faceoff, and he was basically talking about players who are ascending and players who are declining. And in the clickbait headline culture that we live in, of course, it worked. It got clicks, but it also didn't. Was saying that McDavid is in his decline. It was also saying, if you read the article, his decline is still that of the best player on planet Earth. It's just not 150 points, and that he's turning his game into multiple different ways. I love it because the headline stirred up so many angry people online. One of them included in person our fearless leader, Jay Downton. He was talking about it this morning, and we were like, yeah, but did you actually read the article? And he goes, fuck no, of course I didn't read that. Got way too angry at the headline. So I guess job accomplished, but also read the article, people. We can't live in these headline worlds. McDavid is not in his decline. I'm not going to use that word. I get the logic of saying it because you may have peaked at 150. We're not using the word decline with Connor McDavid. He's still a young man, all right? He's still below 30. People saying Borscht mentioned, Datsuk mentioned. Shout out to all of that. Also, shout out producer Brett Holden. He fixed the speaker problem upstairs. Woo, we find a way. Yeah. Shout out to the studio audience as well. Shout out to the studio audience for Family Feud yesterday, because we had some employees just watching, clapping along. There's so much clapping that went down when you're playing Family Feud. Hands hurt by the end of it. But Pangs, we're here to talk about hockey. We're here to talk about the Edmonton Oilers, and it will be tonight their final game of the 5-game homestand. And it's a homestand that's been a little bit of up and down, mostly up, though, I will say. It started off with a hard-fought moral victory, 2-1 loss to the Minnesota Wild. And after that, read it on the mug. It was Beltmas from there on out. They took belt to ass to the Seattle Kraken. They took that same belt out again, and they brought it against the Winnipeg Jets. And then Tuesday night against the Buffalo Sabres, we did not get the result we were looking for. The first 40 minutes for the Oilers felt lethargic, felt passive. They had a lot of good offensive zone time, a lot of good offensive possession, but stop me if you've heard this one before. The Oilers were very perimeter in their attack and maybe not getting it into the dirty areas that they necessarily needed to be. However, in the third period, bang, the switch flipped, and the Oilers came out like a completely different animal. The shots were 12-6. The goals were 3-0. Obviously, they came out, scored 10 seconds in, scored again, a minute 58. Vasily Podkolzin banging away. Did a skills coach teach him how to do that?
100%.
God damn right he did. Shout out to Vasily Podkolzin's skills coach. So then obviously they tie the game late. It's a beauty. The energy, it's rocking. I live bet the comeback. Oh, I was feeling it. And then immediately we step into overtime. The Oilers win the face-off all the way back into their own end. The Oilers inevitably lose possession, have a defensive breakdown in front, and Alex Tuch. You give him 1-on-0, 3 feet in front of Stuart Skinner. I think most players in the NHL are going to score that goal, let alone Alex Tuch. I was furious with the Twitter takes, the chat takes, people going at Stuart Skinner for that final goal, asking him to make the big save. I don't know if you watched. The third period was full of penalties for the Edmonton Oilers, a 5-on-3 to be specific. Stu made some big stops. Once again, it's the same old story. I do not know why the Edmonton Oilers need to go down multiple goals in order for them to wake the fuck up, but it happened in the third period yet again. They got a point. Shout out the loser point, so you're not The image of losing to Buffalo is really bad, but at least you got 1 point. Pangs, what was your takeaway from Tuesday night?
It's tough. On a random Tuesday night against the Buffalo Sabres, I can imagine for the Oilers, it's kind of hard for them to wake up for, and they didn't. That first 40 minutes, they really let the Buffalo Sabres dictate the pace. And I feel in those games, the Edmonton Oilers, they want to rely on their skill. They don't want to get to the greasy areas. And like you said, they were playing in the perimeter. I'd like to be on a fly on the wall in that second intermission to who stepped up, who said what, because like you said, they came out guns a-blazing, and the way that they got to the greasy areas, Vasily Podkolzin, as you mentioned, that goal on the second one, the greasiness in front of the net. Bordzy. I'd like to see the Oilers bring that from the start tonight.
I think the start is going to be a big emphasis. We'll get into it a little bit later. Also, last night, the Detroit Red Wings got out to a hot start. They went up 2-0 against the Flames less than 5 minutes into that hockey game. So if the Oilers bring Tuesday's first 40 effort, I do not like their chances against this Red Wings team, who is a little bit red hot right now. But a victory tonight would bring the Oilers to 3-1-1 on the road trip, which, from where I sit, would be a successful homestand for the Oilers. We looked at this 5-game stretch, and this was one where we said, okay, this is where the Oilers start to go. This is where Beltmas may have started. Was I premature in saying the Oilers are back and calling it Backmas after the Winnipeg Jets game? Maybe, but we will determine that later on this evening. I'm always going to think the Oilers are going to be back. But this was the stretch. We knew they needed to make a run. They needed to make a run back up in the standings. And when they first started this homestand on December 2nd, the Oilers were 6th overall in the Pacific Division. Tonight, they sit 3rd in the Pacific, and with a win, with 2 points, would close within 2 of the LA Kings for second place in the Pacific Division. It's tough to see after the Buffalo loss. I feel like that loss to that logo, to that team, to 14 years of playoff drought, kind of clouds your vision of how good this homestand has been for the Edmonton Oilers. But once again, that's been a problem this year. A couple solid games for the Edmonton Oilers, and they take a shit in their pants out on center ice, and then they try and pick up the pieces from there. But a win tonight will never erase the fact that we haven't won against the Buffalo Sabres yet this season, but that we did get the 1 point. Overall, you look at that run, a win tonight makes this a very good homestand for the Oilers.
Yeah, if you take a look at last game, I mean, they only really played for 20 minutes. And if you put that effort into a full 60, you're likely going to get a W. So for the Edmonton Oilers, they know what they have to do. You have to put the pedal to the metal. You have to dictate the pace, play with tempo from the start. And for them, I can't say it's an easy concept, but hey, play a full 60 minutes, Oilers.
Now, it's cliche. It's whatever you want to use to play the full 60. I make an emphasis, especially tonight, on the first 10 and the last 10 against this Red Wings team. There's always going to be runs. There's always going to be momentum swings. Maybe not like the NBA, the back and forth like that, but the Oilers, emphasis on the start, emphasis on the end. Also, Ryder from the Sauce is in the chat, and he says, great hoodie, Bordzy.
Woo!
Shout out the
I
Sauce.
want one.
With Ryder. There's actually a couple upstairs.
Woo!
We can probably get you one. I took one out of the big giant box
Nice.
yesterday. So, I mean, I'm not totally sure if I was supposed to, but I did. I saw everybody else doing it, so I was going to do it as well. Also, reminder, plug, the Sauce is officially shifting over to their YouTube channel tomorrow morning. So make sure right now, use your thumbs. If you're on your phone, you can still hear me. Scroll down, do that thing, search it up, The Sauce with Ryder and Lisa. Make sure you're subscribed, and then tune in tomorrow, 8 a.m. I love starting my mornings with Ryder and Lisa. My alarm every day is set for 8 a.m. Arguably, not going to get into details, the first thing I do when I wake up, but let's say Ryder and Lisa, they join me for it.
You know what? I tuned in late yesterday to the sauce, and they were talking about OnlyFans. Kind of, they're talking about OnlyFans.
You never know what you're gonna get.
You never know what you're gonna get, and what people are looking out up in the States. I remember thick with 2 C's there. Someone, maybe Wisconsin or something like that. But pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what the sauce is all about, man. That's why they're so good. And like once again, Family Feud was awesome. That is exactly what I pictured when I thought Ryder and Lisa would join Oilers Nation. Like, hey, what are we going to talk hockey? We're going to have fun. We're going to do stuff. I love you, Ryder. I love you, Lisa. And I love the free merchandise that you guys gave me. Also, shout out nationgear.ca. Actually, another shameless plug. Let's do it. Nationgear.ca. You can go on the Nation vacation if you head over there right now. March 2026. Ryder's going on the trip. Lisa's going on the trip. I'm going on the trip. Brett's going on the trip. Pangsy?
I'm crossing my fingers. Got to talk to the wife.
He might be going on the trip.
I really want to go.
But you can't see it from over there. He's got this glimmer in his eye. He's got this little sparkle. Pangsy came last year to Vegas on the Nation vacation. It was unreal. Sign up, nationgear.ca. You can get them now. Flight options, no flight options, single occupancy, double occupancy. Maybe you'll bunk up with walls. Who knows? Whatever happens in Vegas, it stays in Vegas. Fair enough. I don't want a room with walls, but you can do that if you'd like to. Back to the ice, back to the hockey talk. The one thing that's helped the Edmonton Oilers over this 5-game homestand is the fact that they keep playing teams on the second half of a back-to-back. So we go back to Saturday night, the Winnipeg Jets. They had taken on, I believe they had, the previous night they had lost 6-2. I forget who that was against. And then the Oilers obviously slacked the shit out of them. The Buffalo Sabres didn't work for the Edmonton Oilers, but they had lost the previous night 7-4 to the Calgary Flames, which maybe it's bad that they lose the night before because then they're motivated in the second half. That brings me to tonight. Well, the Detroit Red Wings won last night 4-3 against the Calgary Flames, hopped on a quick flight in this cold, snowy-ass weather, and they got their way up to Edmonton. And in that game, the Red Wings jumped out to an early lead. It was 2-0, 4.5 minutes into the hockey game. They were up 4-0 at one point. And in the final 20 minutes, they took the foot off the gas, brother. They allowed Calgary to score 3 goals in a 7-minute span. They got right back into it. Sphincters, they were tight for Detroit Red Wings fans everywhere. I'm sure the guy that was sitting in front of us earlier was a little bit stressed about that. You don't want to lose to the Calgary Flames. We know all about that. John Gibson, ever heard of him before? We all wanted him to be an Edmonton Oiler. Actually, I shouldn't say we. A lot of the chat. I want nothing to do with John Gibson. But he did get the win last night. He stopped 34 of 37, meaning it should expect to see Cam Talbot this evening. The Detroit Red Wings are a good team. They tend to score a lot of goals. I think tonight's going to be one where you might have to outscore your problems, or Stuart Skinner, if he wants to show up and give us a performance for the ages, I would take that. The one thing that's, at least on paper, looks good for the Oilers is that this is the second half of a back-to-back with travel, even a little bit of travel for these Red Wings. And these are when you look at the schedule. I'm sure if you're a Red Wings fan, you saw second half back-to-back Oilers in December. That's a scheduled loss for most Red Wings fans if you're going to look at it objectively like that. So that means the Oilers need to take full advantage of the fact that this team played late last night. This team might not be ready to go right off the jump. Do not take them lightly, but that's the emphasis on the start I have is the Red Wings second half of a back-to-back, Pangsy.
I can't remember the exact statistic, but ever since Connor McDavid was drafted in his rookie season, the Oilers against the Buffalo Sabres were like 8-7 and something, meaning like they win like half their games against the Buffalo Sabres. And because they're not a team that you really want to wake up to play. When you got a original 6 team like the Detroit Red Wings coming in on a Thursday night, the vibes are going to be absolutely high. You got future Hall of Famer Patrick Kane, Showtime coming in. I think this is a game that the Edmonton Oilers are really going to wake up for. And again, we mentioned it, as cliche as it is, a key to winning tonight is bringing a full 60.
Absolutely. This Red Wings team, they're good, man. I know we like all chirping Stevie Y for his Yeiser plan and whatnot, the 9 years of playoff drought, but they're on an extended road trip of their own right now, actually. This will be game number 5 of the 6-game road trip for the Detroit Red Wings. And on this trip, despite last night's collapse, it's been an unreal stretch for them. They've gone 3-0-1 on this road trip. They lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets in a shootout to kick it off, and then it's been 3 straight wins. They beat the Seattle Kraken, they beat the Vancouver Canucks, they beat the Calgary Flames last night, and over this road trip, the 4 games, they have a combined .919 save percentage. In all 4 games, they have scored 4+ goals in every one of those games. Offense has been Detroit's calling card this season. They sit 12th in goals per game. They're 8th on the power play, and then they have 3 dudes who are all above a point per game player this season. You go through it. Alex DeBrincat leads the team, 16 goals, 18 apples, 34 points in 31 games. Right behind him is Lucas Raymond with 33 points in 29 games. And then you got first ballot Hall of Famer Patrick Kane. He's just below a point per game. I believe he has 21 in 22. They've got young Mo Sider on the back end. They've got guys like Axel Sundin Pellikka. They got some good homegrown stuff over there going on in Detroit. And I guess that brings me back to the Yzer plan, because we all love chirping him, but he has this team in a pretty solid spot right now. He has a 1A, 1B goaltender rotation, both of them a little bit older than you might like in your crease, but they're at least surviving right now. Once again, first in the Atlantic Division. I believe on their roster tonight, 9 guys are homegrown draft picks. And you look at your Mo Sider, Simon Edvinsson, who is questionable to play tonight because he got banged up last night against the Calgary Flames. Axel Sundin Pellikka. And then they have this guy this year, Emil Finney. He is a former 7th round draft pick back in 2023, I do believe. And he has found a spot on the top line with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond, and he is sticking there. He's been providing, I think he has 14 or 15 points thus far. He's bringing a little bit of energy out there, and there's just another young player on this Wings team that's starting to produce, starting to find their way. You think of names like Marco Kasper as well. This Red Wings team, Stevie Y, obviously, like 9 years of playoffs. I mean, without playoffs, I get it that people are angry about it. And shout out, thank you for the Jake Wallman by transactional, I guess, for giving him up to San Jose and then allowing San Jose to give him to us. But the Yzer plan, Pangs, it's kind of working this season.
Absolutely. I mean, you take a look at the Detroit Red Wings roster. They're finally realizing their potential. Like Lucas Raymond, high draft pick a few years ago. Dylan Larkin, he's always been a consistent offensive contributor, and he's having a heck of a season, 33 points. And like you said, that Emmett Finney, I took a look. He's from Lethbridge, Alberta.
Yep.
Lethbridge, Alberta. Alberta boy. I think he's one of the leaders in actually.
That's a good old Alberta boy.
Oh, that Emmett Finney.
Brett, give me your best John Cherry impression of how he would describe Emmett Finney, 7th round draft pick.
It's good. Ron, if you sit here, look, how much time? Okay, we got time. Put up the Detroit Red Wings. Listen, no, Aaron, listen. Emmett Finney is in there.
Shut up. That's like the most memorable thing I always think of back to Hockey Night in Canada. It's not Don's rants, but it's him going to Ron, how much time do I got? How much time do I got? And Ron being like, fuck, we're way over time, dude. Like, spit it out, old man. But back to Emmett Finney. He's been a diamond in the rough for this Wings team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just take a look at their lineup. They're deep. And I didn't even realize that Travis Hamonick's on their team. So, I mean, I'd imagine he's playing their bottom pairing. So from lines 1 to 4 and on the blue line too, this Detroit Red Wings, they're deep and they're finally realizing their potential.
They are. Also got some numbers on Travis Hamonick. Obviously, the Oilers tonight have last change. We know Larkin can skate with Connor. We've seen Mo Sider skate with Connor before. But if we can get 97 or 29 out there against Travis Hamonick, don't want to blow my load too early on this stat, but it is some wild shit how bad Travis Hamonick has been this season. The one area that Stevie Y did try to improve this past summer for the Red Wings was the goaltending position. We just kind of mentioned it. They traded for one, John Gibson. They traded away Peter Mrazek, a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick to acquire him. As an Oiler fan, hindsight, it's 2020. Do you wish the Oilers acquired John Gibson last year? Because I do not.
No, I think he's old. He's just too old. He doesn't have it. And him being old, he kind of risks injury down the playoff stretch and in the playoffs. So no, definitely not.
He loves getting injured. His numbers this year have not been that great. He has improved a little bit lately. Once again, we're going to see Cam Talbot tonight, but it's been a bit of a struggle bus, you could say, kind of for both of them. Gibson struggled to start the season. He's finding it now. Cam Talbot, I believe they both started 17 and 16 games this year, so they're splitting it pretty evenly, and both of them actually come in with twin 884 save percentages on the season. Gibson played last night. He ended up finding a way to get the win. So it's going to be Talbot tonight, and I looked this up, and it shocked me. It disgusted me. Cam Talbot kind of owns the Edmonton Oilers. In his career, he's a 4-2-2 record with a 2.05 goals against average and a 934 save percentage. I hate cheering against old friends like one Cam Talbot, even when he fought Mike Smith. I want him to get his ass beat, but I didn't want him to get hurt. So once an Oiler, always an Oiler, damn it. But Cam Talbot, he's going to be the enemy tonight. So if he has to get shelled tonight, then so be it. If he dies kind of thing. But this goaltending picture for the Red Wings, I think they'd like one of them to grab the 1A or true number one role, but both of them are elder statesmen. They're both past 30. They're on the back end of their careers. They're trying to find a way. It's going to be Talbot tonight, but what have you thought of this kind of, I'm not going to call it a messy goalie situation. It is just a true 50-50 split between the two of them.
It's going to be interesting. They have some older netminders, and I was just taking a look at Cam Talbot's picture.
He's got gray hair.
He's got some gray hair, and I mean, I think I'm older than him, and I don't even have that much gray hair. So that means
shout out us.
Yeah,
shout out us.
We're doing good. We're doing pretty good. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be an interesting tandem down the stretch. And you know what? You mentioned Cam Talbot had really good stats against the Edmonton Oilers, but my recent memory of Cam Talbot was in the playoffs 2 years ago when the Oilers absolutely took it to Cam Talbot. And I remember sitting behind the bench, and then I think it was like game 2 or something. I'm just like, boo. And this lady's like, you need to stop chirping Cam Talbot for what he did with us for the Oilers. I'm like, you're right. And I'm just like, you fucking suck. And I'm like, I'm sorry, lady.
Fire tonight up there. Both things can be true at the same time. I can love and appreciate and respect everything Cam Talbot did for me. I can also wish horrible things upon him on the ice. The moment he steps off, we're all good again. But anyone can get it over here as far as I am concerned. Let's go now to your need-to-know information courtesy of Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that Wilhauk name, made from 100% Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size. And you can find their jerky, sausage, and other products out of their Leduc location. And for more information and to get yo jerky on, head on over to WilhaukBeefJerky.com. So we expect it to be the same lineup yet again here for the Edmonton Oilers. We've got no injury returns for them, but we did get a transaction earlier today as Oil to the Max, Maximum Jones, makes his return. He has been recalled to the Oilers from the Bakersfield Condors in a corresponding move. The Oilers placed Jack Roslovic and Connor Clattenburg, Jack Roslovic and Kapanen. Clattenburg and Roslovic, I'm looking at two different screens here, on IR, and they moved Jake Wollman to LTIR. I pointed out in the last pre-gaming pings, we were told on November 20th, after the Tampa Bay game, that Jake Wollman was day-to-day and was not expected to miss extended time. Here we are 3 weeks later. He's not going to be here this week. He's not going to be back next week. I don't know when to expect him to be back. Maybe 2026. Nobby, liar confirmed.
Well, I mean, maybe not. Maybe liar, but maybe for Christmas, Santa needs to bring him a calendar because maybe he just really doesn't know how to tell time or something like that. Yeah, you know, it's really interesting when I heard that he was on LTIR. Bordzy always says, he's like, I do not trust Nobby's timeline. And then sometimes in those moments, I'm like, actually, and like today, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you're 100% correct. Nobby has no idea when it comes to
I brought the numbers. Last year, we were told on December 12th it was November 12th, that Victor Arvidsson was day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. He didn't play till December 19th. We were told Zach Hyman going to be November 1st. It was November 15th. Those are just a couple examples. This has happened consistently with one Christopher Knobloch. Well, what are we seeing there? You can read it out loud as well.
Yeah.
Ryder?
Yeah, Ryder said, my friend Jake is watching his first ever pregame with Bordzy. Said he'll come to Vegas if he gets a shout out.
Jake, we're about to become best friends, my brother, because a deal's a deal. As far as I'm concerned, you can sit right in the middle seat between me and Brett on the airplane. So we're going to have an excellent time down in Sin City, nationgear.ca. Deal's a deal, Banks.
Yep,
Deal's a deal. I don't make the rules. I simply just follow them. Now, Max Jones, Maximum Jones, Oil to the Max. So many good nicknames for Max Jones. He's not obviously expected to play tonight, and he'll be the 13th forward on the roster. There you get a look at his AHL numbers this season. 5 goals, 2 apples, 7 points in 17 games played. But look at the bottom. 49 penalty minutes, second on the Bakersfield Condors to Connor Clattenburg, who's up with the NHL squad, who, I guess, a Clattenburg eye update, it did heal well. So shout out Michael Menzies because he filled me in on this morning at the office. Also, we were talking about the Michigan head coach. If anybody in NCAA knows that situation going on, we got to talk about it later. Wild shit, but that's a discussion for another day. He's talking about Clattenburg's eye. So this is from Menzies. I'm not saying this is fact, but what we were hearing, the grapevine is reporting that Clattenburg, so he got stitched up on his eye, but basically he's been kind of instructed to not physically exert himself so much because that if he did, all the blood would go there and it would swell and then it would go to his eyeball and this and that and kind of thing. So he might be on a version of bed rest. I don't really know, but he's getting paid an NHL salary while he's doing so.
That's pretty good.
Fuck yeah, brother. Let's go. Shout out to Connor Clattenburg. Another injury update. Some guy who was having just a rough 2025, and that applies to last year's one, Trent Frederick. I guess not that rough if he signed a $30.5 million deal this summer. That's actually pretty good, but after getting his face pummeled in by Mathieu Olivier, a month ago, the bad luck continues as he took a puck to the face that required 14 stitches. He's expected to play tonight, so he's a hockey player. He's a tough guy. We've seen him play with an absolutely fucked up face multiple times this season. Felt bad for him in this situation. I believe Nobby said, quote, he will have a souvenir on his face.
Man.
But I'm curious to get a look at it. I was joking last game that it looked finally healed. I was like, nice, you can get punched again. We can get in another fight here, Freddie. I don't know. We're going to have to get a look at this thing and see how it goes. Final game of the Oilers 5-game homestand. And when they're done this, they will move on to a 5-game road trip Saturday, Sunday, back-to-back against Toronto and the Montreal Canadiens. Then it's going to be Pittsburgh on Tuesday, Boston on Thursday, closing it out on Saturday against the Minnesota Wild. So pretty consistent schedule for the next 2 weeks. I mean, this week and next included. It's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. 2x. We're doing that twice over. Edmonton and Detroit, they already met once this season. It was a game that I talked about Brett earlier, and I went, I completely forget that one because it was a Saturday afternoon game against the Red Wings.
Careful what you say next.
Yeah, I know, Brett. I'm not going to sell you down the river, but I was hungover and I was watching football, so I kind of forgot about this one. But the Oilers lost 4-2 on Sunday, October 19th. Skinner allowed 3 on 24. John Gibson got the win, stopping 16 of 18. There's a reason I don't remember it. The Oilers had 18 shots on goal in the game. What do you want me to do? The Oilers 5-3-2 in their last 10 against Detroit, but 3-0-2 in their last 5 home games. And then finally, Stuart Skinner, he's expected to get the start. He has a career record of 1-2-1 against the Red Wings, but a 2.96 goals against with a 9.11 save percentage. Never forget, it's also my birthday. Shout out September 11th. The Red Wings, on their side of the need to know, they own a 17-11-3 record, first in the Atlantic, and they're actually 8th overall in the entire NHL, 37 points in 31 games. There you get a look at it on your screen, the head-to-head between these two teams, and the theme is offense between the two of them. Detroit, they rank 12th in goals per game, while the Oilers, they rank 7th, 3.3 to 3.1. The Edmonton power play, I believe, ranks 3rd in the NHL, while the Red Wings power play ranks 8th. So we're going to get 2 top 10 power plays against, you see it on the bottom of your screen. They share the exact same PK percentage, both tied for 20th in the entire NHL. I think special teams has a large emphasis in this hockey game. The Oilers PK has been vastly improved this season. I feel like it's much better than 79.8%, but stats are facts, facts are stats, and we go from there. Cam Talbot, he's expected to get the start. 9-4-2 record this season. The 301 goals against with an 884 save percentage. And then injury-wise, we'll keep it locked. Maybe I can find out in a second. Detroit played last night. Simon Edvinsson was injured. He didn't finish the game. He was listed as day-to-day. I believe he did travel to Edmonton with the team, but he's questionable for tonight. We should know soon as they just hit the ice. And then the only other injury they have is one Mason Appleton. Has not played since November 29th. Now, I'm curious, chat, play along. Storyline, key to victory. What are you looking for tonight? Because we kind of just touched on it. I love the over. I think the Oilers might have to outscore some of their problems. Detroit has scored 4+ goals in every single game they've played on this road trip. It's been the theme for them to also try and outscore their problems this season. Both teams, top 10, nearly most offensive categories, and that's what brings me my key to victory, the special team. Shout out Sketch, special teams, special plays, special players. It's going to be a battle of who takes advantage of their power play opportunities in this one. I just touched on it. Both PKs mid, if you will, both power plays pretty damn good. So it's going to be who can take advantage or who can find a way to get the kill. I really think special teams is going to be the make or break in this hockey game for the both teams. Pangs, do you agree with that statement? Do you have a different area you're looking at? But sometimes I think it might be that simple with two high-flying, high-powered offenses.
100% the special teams. And then I'll go on the opposite end, that 5-on-5 play. As mentioned, last game, the Oilers really let a bad team in the Buffalo Sabres dictate the pace. And I think, especially with the Red Wings on a second night of a back-to-back, the Edmonton Oilers really need to be pushing the tempo from the start. That perimeter play. Get that perimeter play out of your system. If the pretty plays, the cross-ice passes at 5-on-5 aren't working, get greasy, start putting pucks onto the net. And another big key to victory tonight, I'm looking at Stuart Skinner. I think with the firepower that the Detroit Red Wings have, we need a big night from Stuart Skinner. We need an above 900 save percentage from him tonight.
I need a thumbs-up performance from my boy Stu, which we know he's fully capable of. Also, finish my beer, immediately drops one in front of me.
Great service.
I love Dogpatch, dude. You guys got to get down here. Southpaw also said only 14 stitches for Freddie. Cheeks clapping and said the one time our scrub gets hurt and he's still playing. That's too funny for me to not read out loud. And then Bo, I love the optimism. I love the positivity. Says Bubble Hyman was a beast last year. Bubble. Freddie?
True.
Maybe. I hope so. It's just, I'm a desperate man, so I will grab on and latch on to anything that we can try and motivate one Trent Frederick or a reason to buy in. Because reminder, we've got 7.5 more years of this. Let's go. $3.5 million. And then Hunter points out, Ryder's buddy, Jake needs to grow up and go to Vegas with the boys. Dude, grow up. Like, figure it out, man. Come on down. Let's have a good time and let's cheer on the Edmonton Oilers. Let's go now to the home team lineup brought to you by Oodle Noodle. It's cold as sin outside right now. And if you are working out in the cold today,
respect.
You do not need to be making food. You don't need to be slaving away in the kitchen. You shouldn't be. You should get your ass on the couch, turn on Pregaming at 6 p.m. At 6:30, you order Oodle Noodle so that at around 7:15, roughly, puck drop. You know how it goes from time to time. You'll have nice, warm, green onion cakes, oods of nudes, whatever you want. And if you sign up for the app right now, you can start earning loyalty rewards points, which let your food earn you more food. Shout out to Oodle Noodle. Do you have a personal favorite at Oodle Noodle? We haven't ordered.
I have
because we get such good food here at Dogpatch. We've been stopping ordering Oodle Noodle.
It's been a while. I have a go-to. You can't go wrong with the ginger beef there,
dude.
It's like you get so much. I'm stuffed after each time I eat it.
I eat my Oodle Noodles in twos. I eat it like one the night before, and then I always bring the other half. Or I'll get 2 green onion cakes. So half the box, 1 green onion cake. Next day, half the box, 1 green onion cake.
Very nice.
I'm a fucking veteran at this shit. Also, it popped in my head. We should get Dogpatch and Oodle Noodle. What am I doing there, man? That's why you get sponsors, baby. That's why you do this. That's why you play the game. Brett, pull it up for me. What we expect to be the Oilers lineup this evening down at Rogers Place. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Zachary Martin-Hyman. Your second line of Vasily Podkolzin. Bordzy with Leon Draisaitl and Matthew the Boy Savoy. Third line, Trent Frederick with possibly a bubble, but definitely 14 stitches in his face with Adam Henrique and one Matthias Janmark. Then the fourth line, Andrew Mangiapane, Curtis Lazar, and Tommy Smokes. So we see Freddie moving up from the fourth line to the third, and Manja dropping down to the fourth. I like that somebody said our scrub gets injured and he's still playing, and he gets a promotion to the third line, as we see here. Then your deep pairings, Ekholm with Bush, Nurse with Reggie, and Brett Kulak with Ty Emerson. Let me, ask you your initial thoughts. Trent Frederick moving on up to the third line. I think it's funny because for most years we've seen here as Oilers fans, Matthias Janmark has been a proverbial fourth line player for the Oil, but this season he's been in that third line role, and now Freddie, whose gameplay lately has been much more of a fourth line grinder, but he also has been in single digit minutes for consistently now here for a little bit. So maybe this is an effort from Chris Knobloch to try and light that spark, see where he can go with this. What do you think about Trent Frederick hopping on the third line?
Well, for most of the year, Trent Frederick hasn't been that intimidating factor. He hasn't been scary, but maybe with all those scars and stitches, we could perceived scariness on the third line, and maybe that will work. But I don't know. To be completely honest with you, I thought on the fourth line that he was gelling with Curtis Lazar a little bit. They were finding a little bit of chemistry, but who knows? That might work. Chris Knobloch, every now and then, he pushes the right buttons, and that he's playing with Henrik and Janmark. Last playoffs, they at stretches they played well together. I believe they produced a goal, so maybe he's trying to find magic again with that line.
Here's to hoping, because my confidence is dwindling. But once again, 7.5 more years of this, so plenty of time for my confidence to perk back up in one Trent Frederick. I'm not going to read one in the chat that made me laugh. Cheeks Clap said Manji on the fourth line is well deserved. Yeah, I think so as well. You talk about perimeter players for the Edmonton Oilers. Mangiapane is definitely one of them. Gets himself in some opportunities, some spots. I just feel like Monge is allergic to shooting the puck as far as I'm concerned, and he struggled to receive some passes. That one, where you look at some of these injury news, the Oilers, they're up against it. There's some bodies that you want to have back in the lineup, but you know that they will be returning 2 to 3 weeks after Chris Knobloch tells us they're going to return, but they will end up returning. And Mangiapane, he's a guy here, just like Freddie, that needs to find out what is his role on this team. What kind of player is he going to be? I don't know. I really don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, and I think Chris Knobloch might feel the exact same way. The one thing I do want to touch on, strong emphasis on the start tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, because they came out flat as shit against the Buffalo Sabres after an awesome start to the game against the Winnipeg Jets. I understand Detroit is in the second half of back-to-back, but a team with this offensive output and a team last night that scored twice in 5 minutes, you cannot take lightly. Brett, we have a clip of Adam Henrique speaking to the media earlier this morning, and he talked about some of the emphasis on getting a good start tonight. Let's take a listen.
You know, I think more a start like the Winnipeg game, try to jump on them, you know, and keep that pace high and the tempo high for a lot longer in the game. I thought we did a great job of that against Winnipeg, and then it went the other way against the Buffalo for the start. So that's something we talked about and something that we'll try to make sure we're on top of. Yeah, it does. You're at home. You have a stretch at home. You want to win every game. You know, in front of your fans and your building, that sort of thing. So, a big one tonight for us to finish off the homestand. It's I guess a 40-minute bounce back from last game, and just try to play a complete 60 minutes like we did in the third period.
He sounds like us, Banks, talking about a complete 60-minute. Also, two things. A, goddamn, is Adam Henrique handsome.
Very.
I think we were all thinking it right there when the clip was being played. I'm going to be the one who's going to say it. Those are piercing, beautiful eyes. And number two, we all love live betting the comeback, Pangs. It is electric. It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm watching Oilers games. But you know what? I could do without a 20-minute effort. Also, the second period for the Oilers on Tuesday night was abysmal, and the second period has been one of their biggest issues throughout this entire season. But emphasis on the start, and Rico's hot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. He's just drop dead gorgeous.
He's just good looking.
Anyway,
Rico Suave.
Yeah, again, we're beating, but it's like a broken record. The Oilers need a full 60 minutes, and leading up to the game, before the game against the Buffalo Sabres, the Edmonton Oilers were trending in the right way. They were bringing that full 60 minutes. They were paying attention to the little attention to details in the defensive zone, and they're going to need to bring it again. And they saw the damage that they could do in the third period. They put the work boots on, their hard hat on, and they went to work. And here's hoping that they start like that tonight.
Let's just put them on before we hit the ice. Before they drop the puck in the first period, let's make sure we have our hard hats on. Also, want to mention last change, hugely important for the Oilers tonight. Mo Seider has given Connor McDavid fits in their careers before. Dylan Larkin is one of the few players who can keep up with 97 out on the ice. And then I mentioned it earlier. It's the matchup game. 97-29 expected to be playing away from each other. And this third pairing, for the Detroit Red Wings. It features one Travis Hamonic, and he has been bad this season. He has been awful. These numbers: Detroit has been outscored 18-5 with Travis Hamonic on the ice at 5v5, and they have been outchanced 148-86 at all strengths. So Travis Hamonic has been up against it so far this season. I would love the Oilers to get him out there, 97 or 29 against him at the end of a long shift, maybe an icing. This is why you need to win games when you're at home. This is why this could be a scheduled loss for the Wings. It should be a scheduled win for the Edmonton Oilers. I hope Nobby and the coaching staff takes full advantage of that. Let's go now. Starting goaltender report brought to you by the very beautiful bar I am inside of right now. We got some beautiful records playing. I don't know what song that is that's going, but it's groovy as hell, brother. And shout out Nick. Why am I blanking on his name? Nick Caroli, one of our bosses. Took a minute for me to try and figure out how to get all of these speakers in this thing at peak audio level, all synced up together. And I am so happy to report that last week I figured it out. It's an unbelievable viewing experience down here at Dogpatch. It was pizza night on Tuesday.
Nice.
It was burger night yesterday. Could be borscht night tonight for Brett, but I think it's braised beef ragu for the boys, right? That's for us.
I think so.
I think so. And then Saturday, we're going to Greta. I'm going to eat like a pig this week. I can't wait. Oodle noodle tomorrow night. Brett, let's pull it up, though. The tail of the tape, the head-to-head between the two goaltenders this evening. Stuart Skinner versus Cam Talbot. My old love to my new love. Fighting for my love this evening. Skinner, 10-8-4 with a 2.9-1 goals against with an 887 save percentage. And then Cam Talbot, he's been winning. 9-4-2 record, 301 goals against with an 884 save percentage. For Stuart Skinner, he's coming off a performance, a sub-900 performance Tuesday against the Buffalo Sabres. I kind of mentioned it off the hop. I'm a Stuart Skinner truther. I'm a believer, and I'm a fan of Stu. And I thought he gave the Oilers a chance to win in that game Tuesday night. I thought in the third period, he was standing on his head, making some unreal, solid saves on the penalty kill specifically. And the whole reason the Oilers got 1 point is in part because Stuart Skinner was able to shut the door in that final frame. You think of it, Bouchard, giving an absolute gift under the Christmas tree to one Tage Thompson. What do you want Stu to do there? And then obviously the OT winner, kind of a similar situation, alone or right out in front of your blue paint, and he gets beat. The argument was, I need the big save from Stuart Skinner. Dude, he did it for the entire third period. He did it. I don't know what you think, but Stuart Skinner, obviously, hey, he's been improved lately. You just got to keep stringing him together. The box score hunters keep him away from the sub-900s, but confidence level in Stu tonight.
I will say that aside from the last game, Stuart Skinner's save percentage, 0.905 the game before, 0.958, and then he posted a shutout the game before that. I feel with that in combination, the team in front of him, those 3 games, were playing really good, and they weren't giving up those grade A chances. Last game was not on Stuart Skinner's fault. When you get gifted a gift wrap right in front of the net, Tage Thompson pots one there. The first goal was a redirect, and then one of the other, like, you leave Alex Tuck all alone in front. I mean, yeah, would I want Stuart Skinner to save that goal?
Yeah, I'd like to win the fucking lottery too, man. But it's not always going to happen like that. I live in reality, not a fantasy fucking world. I'm sorry for cursing, but I got frustrated on after Tuesday. And then to hear it all again on Wednesday, I was looking at some comment. Don't read the comments. That's really the number one rule is you shouldn't read the comments. I love the chat. You guys are the best. Comments, they get me going from time to time.
Yeah, Stuart Skinner gave his team a fighting chance. Unfortunately, the last game against the Buffalo Sabres, the team in front of him didn't play well for 40 minutes tonight. And it's always interesting seeing the goalie comparison. Not often do you see Stuart Skinner have a better save percentage than the other person. So, hey, there's a silver lining in that. And if I feel Stuart Skinner, he puts up above 900 save percentage tonight, the Oilers are walking out with a W.
Levi's in. He says Stu usually plays as good as the defense in front of him. Because guess what? He's an average goaltender. Yeah. And if you give bad defense, you're probably going to get bad goaltending. If you give good offense, probably good defense, probably going to get good goaltending. Crazy, I know. On the other side for one Cam Talbot, I'm just curious in the chat as well, where does Cam Talbot rank in your hearts as like a fan? You know, where does he place? Because he obviously has the most wins in franchise history, but it's funny to look back at I yearn for the days of a .919 save percentage, which he had in his big season with the Edmonton Oilers. Also makes you appreciate Mike Smith or Mikko Koskinen when you look at some of their save percentages over the years. But also, average save percentage has been going down year to year now. Cam Talbot, I just want to say, like, as a career, I remember him as Henrik Lundqvist backup.
Yeah.
And when Hank got hurt and then he made his way to the Edmonton Oilers, and you think of the career Talbot's made, he's 38 years old. He's still kicking in the NHL. He's played 14 seasons, played on 8 different teams, but teams keep still wanting him. They keep still bringing him in. Shout out Cam Talbot. I loved him. I appreciated him. Were you a Talbot guy? My brother got a Talbot jersey.
I'll say this. So we were talking about, I was talking with Northside Norm. We won one of those flight nights with the Edmonton Oilers. So we saw him in San Jose, stayed at the same hotel as them. And it's so funny. The team just puts like a little rope that you can't trespass by, but you could certainly just walk over. But anyways,
the red rope.
The red rope. A bunch of Oilers pass, and they were like 30-year-olds looking for autographs. And the first person to stop was Cam Talbot. Took pictures with us, signed autographs. So he was a really nice guy.
Speaking of red rope and the Edmonton Oilers, this just totally brought me to a weird story that I'll share. Remember Mercer's Tavern back in the day?
Yeah.
So this when Teddy Purcell was on the team, like Ebbs and Hosey were still on the team. And I was at Mercer's, buckled as you are when you're down around there. But the Oilers were in like a back section, and they had the little bit of red rope. And I just decided, because I thought it'd be hilarious, to just stand in front of the red rope and just like put my hand on it and kind of like, like fake like you're on your ear and whatnot. And I shit you not, immediately like 2, 4, 8, 10 people started lining up in front of the rope because they thought they could go and beat the Edmonton Oilers. I fuck with them for about 10 minutes, and they're like, guys, I don't know what you're doing here. You can't go over there. I shouldn't even be here right now. Also, Teddy Purcell bought me a beer that night.
Nice.
Good dude.
Nice.
Good dude. Let's go now to the Jasper away team lineup, brought to you by the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament, going down January 2026, the 23rd to the 25th, to be specific. I believe the Edmonton Oilers that evening. Sorry, the 24th? Yeah, they play the Washington Capitals at 8 p.m. during that one. So,
nice.
Going to get a little pregame. You can tune into pregaming. Unfortunately, probably not live from one Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament on the beautiful Lake Mildred. Going to be a lovely, lovely time down there. So I'm told. Waz says Mercer's is now the Druid. Is home and away done?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're too old to be asking. I'm too old to be asking. I only go to Greta. Let's pull it up, Brett. The expected lineup here for the Detroit Red Wings. Your top line of Emmett Finney and one Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. Your second line, Alex DeBrincat with Andrew Kopp and Patrick Kane, the first ballot Hall of Famer. Your third line, Elmer Soderblom, Nate Danielson with Marco Kasper. Your fourth line, JVR, still alive, still in the NHL with JT Compher and Michael Rasmussen. Rasmussen. Albert Johansson with Mo Seider, Ben Sherratt with Axel Sundin Pellikka, and Eric Gustafsson with Travis Hamonic. That's the third pairing. I want 97 and 29 against this evening. We talk about it. This squad, they got dogs. They've got offensive output, but they do have guys in Dylan Larkin who can play. Dude, he's had an unreal season thus far. Shout out Auto Draft. I have him on my fantasy team, and every day when I check at night, I'm going to go, oh, another 2-point night, another 1-goal performance. He has been solid for this Wings team, and obviously he's in the prime of his career, which I think is one of the many reasons. I mean, obviously you want to make the playoffs every year, but Stevie Y's got to be feeling some pressure alone from his job's sake, but guys like Dylan Larkin, this is the moment where he needs to be making runs in the NHL playoffs. Crazy his whole career he's spent away from the NHL playoffs. They got some animals. They got some dogs. If I were to show you that lineup again, who's your player to watch this evening for the Detroit Red Wings?
My player to watch tonight is none other than Showtime, Patrick Kane. Yep. Last night, he got his 866th career assist, which moved him into 25th spot, passing Dennis Savard on the all-time assist leaderboard. And Patrick Kane, 37 years old, he's still got 21 points in 22 games. There's plenty of game left in I want to say that old body of his, but I'm older than him. But anyway, Patrick Kane.
And that surgically repaired hip of his.
Right.
There you go.
Player to watch tonight is Patrick Kane.
Also, shout out Michael Menzies for the pre-scout report article available on Oilersnation.com. You should be reading it every game day. bet your ass I do every single day. But he mentioned Kane is 11 points from breaking Mike Modano's NHL record for points by a player born in the United States with 1,364 points in 1,324 games. Patrick Kane, really good at hockey, still good at hockey, and a big part of this Red Wings top six. Brett, if you got a player to watch as well, you can hop in. I feel like Brett, he told me earlier he wanted to talk about something. I totally blanked on it. That's on me. My player to watch, I'm going Dylan Larkin. This guy's an absolute, he's just a good hockey player. Honorable mention, Mo Sider. I'm shocked we didn't get in the debate of Sider versus Evan Bouchard on ONE with Jay Down today. That is his favorite debate to get into. But Brett, who's your player to watch, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Emmett Finney tonight. We already have talked enough about Emmett Finney and enough about the fact, what was he, a 7th round pick coming into the league and being able to just fight for a spot, led the WHL in points, and as you guys said, good old Canadian, good old Alberta boy. So yeah, I'm gonna be watching the good old Alberta boy. No, for me, what I was gonna mention was just John Gibson last night. He starts that whole little squabble against the Calgary Flames, gives Adam Klapka a good old clap across the face there. Fair enough. You get stuff going. But you got to finish what you get started. And as shit started to kick off here in front of Gibson, he was in there punching every forward he could find without a face mask, just popping. And I hate to defend anything Calgary Flames, but Gibson is popping anybody with teeth right now. Mackenzie Weegar all of a sudden comes around, says something to him, and Devin Cooley, credit to Devin Cooley, the goalie for the Calgary Flames, scoots up to the center ice and say, hey, you're going to do that to my players? I'll come down there and I'll show you. What does Gibson do? He looks at him, looks at the ref, kind of cowers behind the ref, and then starts egging on Mackenzie Weegar to fight him, as if that's, you are such an American Yankee baby for the fact that you are going to try and just, oh, no, I don't see the other guy over there that's as big as me right now. You want to go, Mackenzie Weegar? You're a baby. I'm so happy we didn't get that guy.
What did I just hear for sound?
I heard creepy music,
No,
like
it's unbelievable.
Michael Myers music.
Either way, so if you didn't see it, it was John Gibson being an absolute plug, in my opinion, behind the net, trying to start some stuff. Devin Cooley. Brett, I like how you mentioned, like, you don't want to comment Calgary Flames, but we're going to keep it 100. We're going to keep it a buck, brother. That was some BS from the Red Wings netminder there. Devin Cooley looked like he was about that action. Would have loved to have seen a goalie fight last night, but unfortunately, we did not get that. Let's move now. Let's move to Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Cheeks Clap asked, how many drinks in is Brett? I'm going to assume 2. I'm going to go with 2. He's all the way upstairs, so I can't totally track him on this, but let's take a look at it. Bordzy's Bankroll this evening. I'm going with Connor McDavid, 3+ shots on goal. It is currently minus 190. And dude, why would you do it? Oh, because he's ripping the puck night in, night out recently. He has 18 shots in his last 3 games. He has 7, 5, and 6. So McDavid, it's his world. We're just living in it, which makes bet number 2 make sense as well. It's my rule, and I'll never break on the rule. If you put a plus sign next to McDavid 2+ points, I am going to smash it, because he's hit 2+ points in 4 of his last 5 games. He has 26 points in 18 career games against the Red Wings. So a team that does defend him well, but it's his world, and we're just living in it. And then finally, I mentioned it earlier, I'm scared, I'm soft, say what you want to say. The line actually is 6.5 goals for the over-under tonight. I teased it down. Go and Bet365, click main, alternative score total, and you can get over 5.5, which is minus 220. But if you play all 3 of these together, plus 250, that'll do. That'll pay the bills. That'll get it done responsibly. 19 plus on Bet365, Panganiban. Do you like that? Do you believe in that? Will I be happy later tonight?
I think you're going to be happy later tonight.
Come on.
I mean, the Con McDavid right now, he's so hot right now. 5 goals in the last 3 games. Like Bordzy said, the last 3 games, he's got 18 shots. He's got that shooter's mentality, finally. I think easy dub for you tonight.
I believe he's on pace now for 44 goals this season, which is huge for me. I don't want to run the milk mile on Oilers Nation Everyday's Futures Bet Challenge. And I need something to go through the hoop for me. So, Connor, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Final thing, Brett, you play along as well. Score predictions, anytime goal scorers. Sean, you're up first.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to copy Lauren Gelman's right there. I like the 4-3. I think it's going to be, you know what? I'm going Bordzy with the game winner tonight.
Bordzy. Of course you are. Shout out the skills coach. Brett, score prediction, anytime goal scorer. Got above.
I'll go 5-3 Oil, and I have a Zach Hyman anytime goal. I'm liking that. Also, was there music playing all of a sudden when?
Yep.
That's weird. I slammed my fist down, and all of a sudden the soundboard next to me, the Roadcaster, triggered one of the things on there. So, hey, we got some elevator music for it. I apologize.
I love it because I know Brett. I know my boy. I didn't have to be up there to know that is exactly what happened when that went down because I know that sound effect. And I was like, oh, he was just getting passionate. He was just getting passionate as a motherfucker up there. Shout out, Brett. I'm going the over. It's smashing. 5-3 for the Oilers, a victory and 1. Leon Draisaitl gets on the score sheet. That's the safest bet you can make, and that's the one I'm going to make tonight. That'll do it for us pre-gaming with a Bordzy. Shout out to Pangs. Shout out to Northside Norm. Shout out to the Red Wings fan over there as well. The lovely staff at Dogpatch and Brett up above. We will be live for Oilers Nation After Dark right after the conclusion of tonight's hockey game. Hopefully breaking down a W. Hopefully breaking down 3 W's on Bordzy's bankroll, courtesy of Bet365. I got a taste of it. I hit 2 recently. I need more.
Nice.
I need more. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Throw down your courtesy like on the way out. I will review the braised beef ragu a little bit later on. But until then, good luck on the Bet365 Battlegrounds, and we will talk in a bit.